After defeating a men's team from a small town in an away game, a women's baseball team prepares to leave. But a group of drunken locals provokes a confrontation that ends with several deaths on both sides. The town's power broker, businessman Mino Collins, offers $1,000 for the head of each team member, and a full-scale manhunt for the women begins. Blood Games sits at the intersection of thriller, action, and slasher. But what makes it unique is the collision of two poorly compatible logics. It's a film in which unarmed women stand against armed men, and feminism tries, if not to defeat exploitation cinema, then at least to put it to work. Formally, the movie is built on violence and the spectacle of naked female bodies, yet it stubbornly insists on a different focus. A story of female solidarity, survival, and mutual support. Almost a manifesto, an insider among outsiders in the exploitation genre. When Blood Games was released, it went completely unnoticed. It was a low-budget B movie made for near-immediate video release by people who were almost one-offs. Most of the women playing the baseball players weren't actresses. The director, Tanya Rosenberg, made no films before or after this one. And for cinematographer Sam Garth, it was the only project he was trusted to shoot on his own, rather than serve as an assistant or simply operate the camera. To his credit, he handled it quite well. The opening baseball game oozes sexuality. The forest sequences are shot with energy and vitality. And some moments, like the killing of a girl distracted by a butterfly, are unexpectedly expressive. The script obviously didn't reach for the stars either. The problem isn't just its schematic plot, but also the sheer lack of events to fill a 90-minute runtime, forcing Rosenberg to stretch time however she can. The opening baseball game takes 10 minutes of screen time. Another 10 are spent in the locker room and showers. When the action shifts first to the road, where belligerent rednecks try to stop the team bus, and then to the forest, the director pads the runtime with an abundance of establishing shots in slow motion. Unfortunately, the budget and genre craftsmanship aren't there, so on a purely technical level, the film often looks weak. The male actors seem to have been cast almost exclusively for their repellent looks, and on screen they behave like animals, cruel, dim-witted, and sexually obsessed. Rosenberg gives full-fledged characterization to only a few. The cold-blooded Mino Collins and his son, a kind of inherited macho committing atrocities to live up to his father's expectations. And the blue-eyed, Aryan-looking Hulk Holt and his buddy Vern, a quintessential small-town drunk, played by cult actor George Buck Flower, oddly credited under the pseudonym Ernest Wall. With the latter two, Rosenberg, again seemingly for runtime reasons, tries to assemble an almost comic duo that comes out of nowhere but ultimately works rather well. Even without knowing that Blood Games was directed by a woman, you can feel it in the respect and empathy with which the filmmaker portrays her heroines. Almost none of them have deep characterization, and they're wearing barely more clothing than Princess Leia at the start of Return of the Jedi, yet Rosenberg somehow refuses to turn them into mere objects. Yes, they're hunted, killed, and raped, but this is still not the hunter's story. It's the story of their victims, of their unity, mutual support, and resilience. The film may admire bodies, but it doesn't humiliate its heroines. The director finds ways to marry sex and violence without forgetting inner dignity. Fittingly, the most memorable images are the final shots, where the few surviving women walk off into the sunset, embracing one another. Unlike many films of its kind, this one isn't about how they died, it's about how they survived.